Ambassador Krell Vox swept into the human embassy reception, a six-legged razor hound straining at its chain.
Behold, the pinnacle of my world's breeding. Only the elite dare keep such a creature. It has ended 3 owners.
Across the hall, a tiny girl in pink clutched a floppy-eared rabbit. The predator's 4 crimson eyes locked onto the soft toy. Before anyone could react, the razorhound lunged. The rabbit was ripped from Emma's hands, a wet snarl echoing through the chamber. The room froze. Alien dignitaries gasped and recoiled. A gelatinous attaché fainted. Human security snapped their sidearms from holsters. But in the deadly silence, a 2-year-old's face hardened. Her brow furrowed, and she pointed a tiny finger straight at the beast.
Mine!
A security guard raised his pistol, but Linda's hand closed over his arm. She didn't speak, just shook her head.
This child will be killed, and my diplomatic career with her.
Emma marched forward, her unsteady toddler steps closing the distance. The razorhound's jagged ears flattened, its slavering jaws still clamped on the rabbit.
3 previous owners. 3. And this tiny speck of a human walked toward it as if it were a stuffed toy.
Behind Linda, the alien delegates shuddered. An insectoid ambassador chirped in panic and collapsed, legs twitching.
She'd seen that look on Emma's face before, the time she marched up to a snarling Rottweiler and took back her tennis ball.
The razorhound's snarl wavered. Its crimson eyes flickered with something unfamiliar, uncertainty.
Bad doggy. That's mine, you big meanie.
Her voice didn't shake. It was piercing and absolute.
Impossible. The razorhound always lunged first. Always. Why was it waiting?
The beast's massive head dipped lower, its jagged ears plastered back. A whine rumbled from its chest. Emma's tiny hand extended, fingers trembling with determination, just inches from its drool-slicked snout.
Come on, baby. You know what to do?
Emma's small hand pressed against the razorhound's cold, wet snout. It flinched but did not retreat. With a grunt, she pushed up on its upper jaw, her tiny muscles straining against the beast's immense strength.
Give it back, you meanie!
The stuffed rabbit's ear gave a sickening rip, but the predator's teeth held firm.
She's prying open the jaws of a beast that killed 3 warriors with her bare hands.
You can do it, sweetheart. Just like with the wolf.
The entire reception had become a frozen tableau. Hundreds of eyes locked on the struggle between a 2-year-old and an apex predator. Drool stretched in long, glistening strings as Emma wiggled the rabbit. But it was snagged on a needle-sharp fang. Emma's face reddened. She planted her feet and yanked harder, a frustrated squeal escaping her lips. The rabbit slid free by an inch, its button eye catching the light, still hooked on the tooth. The beast merely blinked. With a final yank, the rabbit tore free from the fang. Emma stumbled, then raised the drool-soaked toy high.
She actually did it. By the ancestors, a 2-year-old just disarmed a razorhound.
Mine! See? It's my bunny!
A collective gasp swept the chamber. The predator, deprived of its prize, sat down heavily, all 6 legs folding in confusion. Then, with a whine, the razorhound flopped onto its back, scarred belly exposed. Its armored tail thumped once. Linda nodded, a fraction of a smile on her lips. She'd seen this before.
Good boy. See? Not so mean.
The alien dignitaries erupted into a storm of whispers. Impossible, one hissed. Deathworlders, another choked. Emma cradled her rabbit and stroked the razorhound. The beast's eyes closed, a low rumble of contentment vibrating through its frame.
What have we done? We brought a monster to their doorstep, and their child claimed it as a pet. A fluke. The razorhound must be ill. Yes, that's it.
He seems fine to me, Ambassador. A bit more cuddly than I expected, but fine.
Krellvox rushed to the beast, running a scanner over its vitals. The readings were perfectly healthy.
No fever, no neural disruption, no chemical imbalance. It was in peak condition, and utterly, pathetically submissive.
The razorhound rolled onto its belly but didn't move from Emma's feet. It leaned into her small pats, rumbling.
Soft doggy, just like Wolfie at home.
Linda's eyebrow arched. The ambassador's composure had shattered. She could almost see his mind racing for an answer. He straightened and stepped into Linda's personal space, his forearms twitching with barely restrained alarm.
What trick is this, human? Explain. Your child should be dead.
No trick, just practice. You could say she's had some experience. Emma, sweetie, come show the ambassador your new friend.
Emma toddled over, the soaked rabbit leaving a trail of drool. Behind her, the razor hound rose and padded silently.
It follows her like a hatchling. That's not possible.
Mine, no touch. This my bunny, and this my big doggy.
She shook the rabbit for emphasis, and the razor hound sat instantly, its 4 eyes locked on her.
We've had some practice. Predators back home, nothing quite like this, but similar enough.
Similar. What predator on a death world could possibly compare? This species is a knot of contradictions. You train them, then your children dominate violent beasts from birth? Is that your culture?
Not dominate, just respect. It turns out, when you are a toddler, you don't know you are supposed to be afraid.
Then how does she do this? Tell me the trick. I must know.
Linda sighed, then pulled out her palm device. A small holographic image flickered to life above it.
You want to know the trick? It's this.
The hologram showed a teenage boy with a massive gray wolf, a leather collar around its neck, both looking at ease.
A wolf, another apex predator, and it stood with the boy like a domesticated beast.
My son Jake. He found an orphaned cub on a camping trip. Now it's family.
The alien delegates erupted into shocked murmurs. They raised Deathworld predators as pets. One choked out.
Your species, you are all insane or gods.
Neither. We just don't see fear as the only option.
If a child can tame a razorhound, what could we do with an army of such handlers? Would your people consider training other predators? For a price, of course.
Linda studied the ambassador's face. The greed was unmistakable. She needed to tread carefully.
It's not training, Ambassador. It's bonding. Raise them together from infancy, and they become family.
The hologram shifted to a recording. Young Jake laughing as the wolf cub tumbled across a sunlit yard. Krell Vox's mouth opened, but no sound came. His worldview cracked along fault lines he hadn't known existed. Pack bonding. An alien delegate whispered, voice trembling. They've done this before.
Could your daughter do it again? Train another razorhound? A younger one, perhaps?
Linda's eyes narrowed, but a small smile tugged at the corner of her mouth.
I'd need to consult my government, and her father.
Of course, but if this works, the price could be substantial. Resources, territory.
Linda looked at Emma, who was now singing to the razorhound. The weight of the future pressed on her shoulders.
This could change everything for Earth. New alliances, trade routes, respect. But at what cost to my little girl? I will convey your interest to Earth's government, Ambassador, but I can promise nothing.
Name your price. Resources, territory, technology, anything.
One thing at a time, Ambassador. Let's see if my people even agree.
She discreetly texted her superior from beneath the table, her fingers flying across the device. Ambassador offering trade deal. Children as predator handlers. Impossible to ignore. Prep for emergency council. Linda pocketed the device, her heart pounding. She just set something in motion that couldn't be undone.
If this works, my name will be legend. The one who found the key to taming the untamable.
The reception slowly resumed, but the air had shifted. Every alien eye now watched the tiny human and her new pet.
If you'll excuse me, Ambassador, I have a call to make. I'll be in touch.
In her private quarters, Linda activated the holocall. Her husband Michael's worried face and teenage son Jake's eager grin flickered to life.
Jake, Michael, the ambassador wants us to train as predators. Our kids, I need your honest thoughts. I know she's 2, Michael, but she walked up to a 6-legged nightmare and took back her bunny. She wasn't even scared.
She glanced at the nursery cam. Emma was curled up in her bed, the razor hound a dark, contented lump at her feet.
I hear you. It's dangerous. But maybe this is what we're meant to do. Our kids are already doing it. Yes, Jake. I think you could. And Emma, she'd have you to guide her.
Michael's tone softened, his resistance crumbling into a resigned sigh. The stuffed rabbit on the nightstand seemed to watch.
He's right. Think of all the kids who could learn from us. We could help whole worlds and keep Emma safe by setting the rules.
Linda closed her eyes, the weight of the decision settling into her bones. Then she nodded.
Okay. I'll tell the government we're in, but we do this our way. Family first.
In the embassy conference room, Linda laid out the terms. Her voice was steel wrapped in diplomacy.
Earth agrees to a 6-month pilot program, Ambassador. But we have conditions. First, no weapons. Second, limited publicity. My children aren't spectacles. Third, their safety comes before any treaty.
Agreed. I would never endanger the girl who tamed my razor hound. She is precious now.
Krell Vox's 4 hands waved in excitement, his stalk eyes shimmering with barely contained greed. He extended a hand, a human gesture he practiced. Linda took it, gripping firmly. The handshake sealed the deal. A toddler had just changed the course of human-alien relations.
In 6 months, I'll bring a juvenile. If the child succeeds again, my name will be immortal.
We'll need access to a training facility and data on Razorhound development. My son Jake will assist.
The meeting ended, but Linda's heart still raced. The first battle was won, but the war for Emma's childhood had just begun. 6 months blurred past in a storm of preparation. Emma turned 3, her brown curls longer, the stuffed rabbit more worn, but never far from her grip.
3 years old now, sweetie. Remember what we practiced. You are the boss.
Krellvox's ornate ship descended on the embassy landing pad. Inside its hold, a juvenile razorhound snarled and hammered against its cage. The juvenile was a nightmare of snapping jaws and wild crimson eyes, all untamed muscle. It had never learned fear.
Just like with Wolfie, sweetie. No fear. You are Alpha.
Mine! I boss!
The training yard was ringed with cameras and reinforced barriers. At its center, the juvenile paced, a low, throaty rumble building. It lunged at the fence as Emma approached, jaws clanging against alloy bars. Spit flew.
If the girl fails, this will be a diplomatic catastrophe. My career, my legacy, all of it.
Clutching her rabbit, Emma stepped through the gate. For a single, astonished heartbeat, the snarling ceased. The juvenile's paws scraped the dirt. It coiled for a charge, a furious roar tearing from its throat.
Go on, baby. You are the boss.
Emma didn't run. She planted her tiny feet, pointed her finger, and a voice not at all tiny cut through the noise.
Sit.
The juvenile skidded on its 6 legs, a confused yelp escaping as it tried to halt its momentum. For 3 heartbeats, girl and beast stared at each other. Then, with a pitiful whine, the juvenile's hindquarters dropped to the dirt.
She did it. The impossible child has done it again.
Emma walked up to the trembling predator and pressed her small hand to its wet nose. Good doggy. The observation room erupted, aliens gasping, humans cheering, the tension dissolving into incredulous laughter.
That's my girl.
In the weeks after, the training yard became a second home. Jake brought his wolf, and the 2 predators circled warily. Soon, they lay together, in a sun patch, tails thumping. Emma stood before the juvenile, rabbit tucked under her arm. She raised her hand, and the beast dropped into a crouch.
In mere weeks, she taught it basic commands. This species turns nightmares into companions.
Linda watched from the perimeter, arms folded, her smile thin with pride and worry.
I will bring this juvenile to my homeworld. The council must see what your children can do.
The juvenile now responded to Emma's voice alone, its crimson eyes soft with something like devotion.
And if they fear it, if they see this as a weapon,
Then we remind them, The girl who tamed a razor hound tamed its replacement. Fear is the beginning of respect. Diplomat Chen.
Krell Vox's ship powered up. The juvenile lay docile in its crate, a stark contrast to the snarling beast that arrived. Krell Vox stood before the Galactic Council, a towering hologram of Emma riding the adult Razorhound, dwarfing him.
This child, barely 3 rotations old, has done what our best warriors could not. She tamed a razorhound, and then she tamed its replacement.
The chamber erupted. Stalk eyes widened, mandibles clicked, tentacles waved in frantic deliberation.
I submit to you, humans do not just survive death worlds. They claim them, and they do it with their young.
Footage of the juvenile's submission looped on every screen. The galaxy's appetite for answers was insatiable. Within hours, ambassadorial credentials were exchanged. The line of alien dignitaries seeking human trainers stretched endlessly. News spiraled outward. Human toddlers can tame anything. Earth's children, the galaxy's new apex trainers. Earth's Predator Training Division was buried under requests from 17 species in the first solar day.
My name will be legend, but it is the child who truly changed the galaxy.
The Chen family's name was suddenly on every channel. Fame had arrived with a price tag not yet known. Earth broke ground on the first Galactic Predator Training Academy, a sprawling campus near the embassy. Within months, children of all ages arrived, each with a leashed nightmare from a dozen worlds. Holographic billboards across the sector showed Emma grinning, rabbit under one arm, the scarred razorhound looming protectively. But Linda, watching from the sidelines, saw the cracks, the forced smile, the way Emma clung to the rabbit like armor. Jake, at 14, led training sessions with ease, his wolf a silent shadow at his side as he guided younger handlers.
She's 3. She should be playing with blocks, not posing for galactic news feeds.
Late that night, Linda sat across from her husband on the holocall, the worn rabbit and a child's helmet on the table between them.
I see it. The cost. She's not a little girl anymore. She's a symbol.
The decision was unanimous. They would scale back the public appearances. Emma needed to be a child first. The academy would continue, but its star would dim in the spotlight, protected by a mother's fierce love.
She's 3, Ambassador, not a soldier. She'll still help, but no more press conferences.
After everything, you'd hide your greatest asset? The galaxy demands her.
She's not an asset. She's my daughter. And if this partnership is to last, you'll respect that.
A silence stretched. Then Krellvox lowered his arms, defeated.
Very well. We will draft an accord. Your child shall be protected, but the program must continue.
Within days, an interstellar accord was signed. Trainers would be volunteer families with strict child welfare rules. Krellvox stood beside Linda as the accord was sealed. For the first time, his gaze held genuine respect. In the embassy courtyard, Emma shrieked with joy, chasing the razorhound through the grass.
Catch, big doggy.
The beast caught the toy gently in its massive jaws, then dropped it at her feet, tail wagging. Emma, now 3.5, grabbed a handful of the razorhound's harness and swung her leg over. The beast waited patiently. With a joyful shriek, she kicked her heels. The 6-legged nightmare broke into a thunderous gallop across the courtyard. Linda watched from the shade, a hand over her smile. This was the image she'd wanted. Her daughter free, the old rabbit flapped like a battle standard in Emma's grip. The razorhound's crimson eyes were bright with exhilaration. On the embassy balcony, Krellvox looked down. He pressed a recording device, capturing the silhouette against the setting sun. The photograph, when it pulsed through the galactic nets, stopped 1 billion hearts. The headline read, "The girl who rode a nightmare, human toddler casualty subdues galaxy's deadliest predator."
That image is worth more than 100 treaties. It's hope, and it's hers.
Emma leaned low, laughing as the wind whipped her hair. The beast's 6 legs churned in perfect sync with her joy. By nightfall, that single image had been carved into statues, painted on hulls and forever seared into the galaxy's imagination. Across the galaxy, news panels debated. Are humans evolutionarily unique? Lab after lab found no analog to their pack bonding. Stuffed rabbits with tiny protective helmets flooded markets. The galaxy's children clutched them, dreaming of riding monsters. Alien parents begged for human training, summer camps. Applications outnumbered available slots by millions. Earth's economy boomed. The predator handler industry surpassed even tech exports, built on the backs of laughing children. In the embassy courtyard, a statue rose. A tiny girl in pink, holding a rabbit, riding a six-legged nightmare into eternity. Galactic headlines. Earth's children, the only ones who can hug the monsters away. The power shift was permanent. No longer the weak newcomers. Humans were the galaxy's spiritual apex. Because they raised children who loved monsters, the rabbit became a cultural icon, a symbol of innocent courage that even the deadliest beasts respected. In a galaxy that had always feared its predators, humanity's answer was not to destroy, but to befriend. And the galaxy watched in awe. But behind the boom, Linda kept hold of one truth. It all started with a 2-year-old who just wanted her rabbit back. In her quiet office, Linda turned the worn rabbit over in her hands. Its ear was still torn, its fur matted, but it had never been more precious. This simple toy had changed galactic history. Not a weapon, not a treaty, a child's stuffed animal. Her device pinged. A message from Jake. "Mom, we're famous, but I still have to clean the wolf's pen. Love you." Linda laughed, the sound breaking the silence like a spell. She moved to the window. In the courtyard, Emma was feeding the razorhound treats, its massive tail sweeping the cobblestones. The beast, once a killer, now nudged the tiny girl gently, as if she were made of glass. Linda's smile deepened. In the end, the scariest thing about humans wasn't their strength. It was their stubborn, ridiculous love. They didn't conquer, they adopted. They turned nightmares into naptime partners. A peace settled over her. The galaxy might never fully understand, but they would always remember. She set the rabbit on her desk, its button eye catching the fading light. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, all was right. Across the galaxy, the legacy of one toddler and her rabbit unfolded. Worlds that had lived in fear of their own apex predators suddenly found peace. Human children became the galaxy's most sought-after diplomats, ambassadors of empathy, not firepower. Galactic news scrolled, violence at all-time low. Reason? Human children. Alien children no longer dreamed of being warriors. They dreamed of being friends to monsters. The galaxy's greatest weapons, bioweapons, war beasts, became obsolete. A toddler's love was the ultimate disarmament. At the heart of this revolution was a simple truth. Pack bonding was humanity's evolutionary superpower.
They did not conquer us with weapons. They hugged the monsters away, and we are better for it.
Statues were not built to generals, but to a tiny girl in pink, forever riding her six-legged friend. And in the embassy courtyard, the rabbit still rode with her, as the galaxy settled into its most peaceful age. In the quiet of the embassy night, Emma's bedroom glowed with the soft light of a star-shaped nightlight. The razorhound's massive frame was a dark, breathing hill at the foot of the bed, its 4 eyes closed in trust. Linda slipped in, barefoot and silent. She stood for a long moment, watching the two unlikely sleepers.
You are still my little girl.
She brushed a stray curl from Emma's forehead. The girl stirred, clutching the rabbit tighter.
Mine!
The razorhound's tail thumped once against the bed frame, a sleepy acknowledgement. Linda pressed a kiss to her daughter's temple, then turned off the main lamp, leaving only the stars. In the dim light, the rabbit's button eye reflected the distant glow of 1,000 alien suns. And somewhere in the quiet, the galaxy's most dangerous predator sighed in contentment, dreaming of a girl and her bunny.